Greetings, YouTube. So today we are taking a look at a Mezco figure, and we are going back to the sword and sorcery genre. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm into mythic legions and things like that. So this is a special treat to look at a Mezco offering for Conan. Full disclosure, for whatever reason, and I honestly don't know why, I skipped both of the regular Conan offerings. Again, don't ask me why. I must have been into something else at the time and couldn't spare the money. But this King Conan, I actually was able to grab, not from Mezco, not from BBTS, but on eBay for a little bit of a markup, and it's already here. So let's have a look at it. So a quick look at the box here. Got some great art, pictures of King Conan and all his looks. Very well done sculpt wise. There's the back of the box. You get all these accessories. Some good photos down here. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so King Conan. The Conan offerings that Mezco has offered up so far kind of reminds me of Batman with the Sovereign Knight, because they had a couple of releases for each of his points in time, where there was a young Batman, like older but not old Batman, and then the old Batman. So here we got King Conan here, and you can see that they put those touches of gray in his hair and in his beard. He looks very stern, stoic, and regal, but you can still tell that he is a warrior born. Comes with a lot of accessories, and the cool part is that a lot of these trappings that he has on are all removable. We'll talk about that when we get to the accessories a little bit, but everything on him, besides his boots and his wristbands, is removable. So you can strip him down all the way to the loincloth if you wanted to. Long hair in the back. Rippling muscles, still a little bit scarred up and weathered. King Conan has seen a lot of battles. He's survived a lot of stuff. And now he is king by his own hand. Alright, so let's look at accessories first. So typically Mezco does not come up short when it comes to accessories. You get his vest or kind of armor, you get that harness, you get his belt, you get multiple weapons. So you get obviously his sword and the sheath, which is connected with some pleather type soft goods, so you can connect it to his armor straps and such. You get a cool hammer, war hammer thing with some spikes on it, very well done, very well crafted. It also has a leather or pleather strap to it. You get this cool torch and the fire to go with it that looks awesome. You get a battle axe, again very well sculpted. You get a cool shield that has some dings and some dents in it. Does have a strap and a handle on the back of it. You get 6 extra hands. You get some grabby hands. Actually, you get a couple of grabby hands. And then you also get some item holding hands, and then he comes with fists on. And then you get 3 head sculpts. The one he came with. Then you get a younger or beardless Conan, King Conan sculpt. And then you get no crown, no jewelry, just angry, scowling, wind-swept hair sculpt. You also get 2 cloaks, the furry one, and then this kind of regal red one with the gold medallion fasteners connected with a chain. So he does come with quite a bit of accessories. I mean, you also obviously get his stand and bag and all of that jazz, typical from a Mezco figure. So he does come with a great amount of accessories, and again, all of those armor pieces, belt, harness, all of that stuff can come off. Now, what I will say though is that you need to be mindful when you're removing stuff from him and wanting to put it back on. The armor piece, the chest armor piece, the harness, and the belt are not super soft. They're not hard, but they're a little bit, I would have liked them to be a little bit more stretchy. And when you're trying to get them on, especially if you're trying to put everything on him like how he comes, it's a bit of a challenge. And the pegs and everything that you got to put stuff in is very tight. So what I had to do when I took all of his stuff off, I had to put the belt on first, then put the chest armor on, and then kind of shimmy it under the belt so that it looks right. And then you can also add the harness. But yeah, that was a bit of a challenge, and I was afraid I was going to tear something up. So would have liked it if this stuff was a little bit softer, a little bit more stretchy. But it can be done, you just got to be careful. All right, so before we take a look at articulation, let me talk about how you hook up this sword. So the sword is on this strap here, and again, this one is a lot softer and more stretchy. The directions tell you, and it does come with these directions, the directions tell you to loop the belt, or loop the sword strap around the wide part of the belt, and then that's how you can do it. But you can do it any kind of way you want. What I chose to do, because I didn't want to undo this since it was already done, I just looped it onto his harness there, and then let it hang to the side. So, but you could do it however you want it, really. So let's look at articulation real quick. Let me give Conan a head so he isn't out here looking crazy. There we go. So he can look, depending on what hairstyle or what head sculpt you have on him, there is a kind of curvature here to allow for him to look up a little bit, but you're not gonna get a ton. And then he can look down pretty good. Obviously you got twist there and some tilt. He does have a neck that's ball jointed in there as well. So you got a ball joint up here and then a ball joint at the neck. Shoulders come out very far. On this side, we're a little bit hindered because of that harness, but it still comes out pretty far. No butterfly joint, but you do have a bicep twist. And apparently, again, I don't own the other Conans, but the original releases were single jointed at the elbows. This one is not, it is double jointed. Then you got your rotation peg system with the hands. He does have a diaphragm cut and movement at the waist. A little bit restricted now because we have all this armor on, but you can still get some movement out of that. Down at the hips, we have ball joint in there. You can twist the thigh up here. You got a double jointed knee. That can go back pretty far. Get that chain out of the way. There we go. You have no boot cut. And the ankles, which if you've seen any of my reviews on Mezco, this is their weakness, is ankles. Sometimes they get it right, other times not much. And this is one of the not much. That's all I'm getting for tilt. Not much back, a little bit more forward. But yeah, ankles seem to be their weakness. They do not always come through good when it comes to the ankles, which is a shame, but it is what it is. All right, let's look at some comparisons. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what could be seen. I know for me it kind of is a weakness of this figure. If you're trying to build a Hyborian Age universe with your Mezco Conan as the centerpiece, you're gonna have to be very creative, and it's gonna be a little bit of a struggle because most of, if not all of, the sword and sorcerer, sword and sandal lines that are out now are tending towards 7 inches. So here we got some Mythic Legions, and you can see that the Mythic Legions guys are a whole lot bigger than Conan. That may be okay for you, but in my head, in my imagination, Conan is a big dude. just don't really match up. I mean, he looks okay next to the female, but even she is probably his height. So that would mean that this girl is like 6'2" or 6'4" or something like that. It's not really matching up. Another comparison here, and these are the Sorcery Studios combatants. And again, they don't scale real well. He looks tiny compared to everyone here, even the female. So another same issue basically. Okay, moving on to the Super 7 Motu Classics size. Same issue again. You know, these guys are tending towards a 7 scale. They're bigger, they're bulkier, and honestly, even as far as like the movie Conan and Thulsa Doom, aesthetic-wise, he fits, but they're still just way bigger than him. Okay, so we've looked at Mythic Legions, we've looked at Zezre. What about Masterverse? It's even worse. Whoops. So, you know, just isn't, it won't work. He's too small compared to these guys, which is, you know, a shame. It really is. All right, so a couple of kind of sword and sorcery themed Marvel Legends here. It's better, but it still isn't where you'd want it to be. I mean, Hercules is supposed to be a really big guy, so okay, but Conan is still not. And then you also have the aesthetics here too. The Conan is much more realistic looking, whereas these are comic book / movie figures, so hard to say. And how many of these guys are actually dressed like sword and sandal? There's a few of them. All right, moving on to some other lines here. Here is the Spiro Toys Animal Kingdom figures. Now, aesthetic-wise, they're a little bit cartoony, but you know, it's monkey men and ape men and gorilla men, so that could work. I don't have any of the Savage Crucible figures. I know there's the new line coming out, Kickstarter's coming soon, Brutal Realm. I think those guys are really big too, though. Okay, so here are the, I want to say these guys are Berserk toys, something like that. 5K toys. I got these guys from the Greek gods. You got, you know, Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades. This scale works, but again, if you're trying to just get regular characters that are mortals, they would need to be around Conan's height for this to work. There's not really a whole lot of sword and sandal that are this height or this scale. Okay, so it's not all bad news. If you're looking to get your Conan up against some monsters or some huge, you know, just hulking threats, this stuff works because these guys are supposed to be way bigger than regular people. This will work fine. You can have him slashing these dudes up. So we're left with, you know, what are our options if we're trying to build a Hyborian Age universe? If you have tons of money, you could buy a bunch of Conan figures from Mezco and customize them. They have like that Barbarian Builder pack where you had different heads and stuff. This is one of them. So that's something you could do if you're just, you know, rolling in the dough. But for those of us that, you know, $100 is a lot of money, that's not really feasible. One thing to take note of though, and just FYI, that is a head from one of the earlier Conan releases from Mezco, but I bought the head separate on eBay just so I could have a younger Conan to go with this body. But these Mezco heads can be swapped onto other figures, sometimes with no modification or with very little modification. So this is a Masterverse with that King Conan head. Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad at all. So there's an option for you if you, I know me myself, this is something I'm considering as I build out my Barbarian universe. I have an idea, a project that I'm working on in my head that I'm putting together, and I was, you know, planning on using basically Masterverse, Mythic Legions, and like Motu Classics type figures to fill in that universe. with other fantasy characters from different lines that fit. So it's an option, something you could do. So, is the figure a great figure by itself? Yes, it's very good. Great might be too much, but it's very, very good. Accessories are excellent. Chainmail, soft goods, all of that stuff's great. Sword looks awesome, and I don't know that we've actually looked real closely at that sword. It's really cool. Got a lion and carving on it. It's awesome. It's just a matter of, does it work for you with all the rest of your stuff? And I know that there's, people sometimes say this, well, companies are not, supposed to, or they don't have to make stuff that fits with other toy lines, and that's completely true. But we all know that when we get something, especially if it's kind of an isolated thing, there isn't a line of Conan figures, it's just him. We need it to fit with other stuff, otherwise it's just him. So let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.